straight on with our next display and getting airborne. The Pilatus PC-9M of the Slovenian Air Force. And this is another display that starts straight from takeoff with a marvellous flourish. Straight into a barrel roll, retracting the undercarriage as he does so, and thereby capturing the display line before quarter rolling onto the knife edge, and then another quarter roll to the inverted. This is Captain Andrei Fiorelli of the 152nd Fixed Wing Squadron from the 15th Air Base of the Slovenian Air Force of Czechia of Turkey, and he is a real air tattoo veteran, and he, Mark, puts on some of the most technically brilliant aerobatic displays you'll see from this class of aeroplane. Yeah, I've got to say, last year the PC-9 display was my favourite over the 3 days, characterised by something you'll see a little later on, which I will call the 1 nautical mile slow roll. But there are some interesting new developments to this display for this season compared to last. So, down he comes along the line with a 4-point hesitation roll, and now pulling up into a Humpty Bump manoeuvre, but he never just pulls straight up into these manoeuvres. He often throws in a quarter roll or a half roll on the way up, or indeed on the way down out of them, and it was a half roll on the way up there. There are 20 manoeuvres listed in his sequence, but in truth there are far more than 20 manoeuvres in the display, because most of the linking manoeuvres are also aerobatic. Yeah, this is a really impressive display. Given the size and the stature and the lack of sound coming from this aircraft, between every manoeuvre there is a link manoeuvre, generally a roll or a derry turn, in order to introduce the next of the manoeuvres. And also, he'll put this to very good use, in particular on windy days where he needs to extend perhaps to the northwest. Instead of doing a single aileron roll, he may well punctuate that with 2 or 3. So there we had a loop with a roll on the top, but now up for a stall turn. But this is a classic example of what we were just talking about, because a full vertical roll, as he climbs, the speed bleeds off, a plentiful application of rudder, and round he goes for the stall turn, but you'll see him throwing in another vertical roll on the down line. This single turboprop aircraft, 950 shaft horsepower from the Pratt & Whitney Canada PT-6A engine, top speed of about 368 miles an hour, very popular airplane indeed around the world, and this is the most potent machine in the Slovenian inventory. And this is a vertical S manoeuvre, so watch him as he transcribes an S in the vertical. But this is with a half roll after he's performed both ports, and a lot of people do try to compare the likes of the PC-9 and indeed the Tucano with that of the Hurricane. With 1149 horsepower from this Pratt & Whitney PTA-62 turboprop, it is very similar in power to the Merlin that the early Hawker Hurricanes had. However, this aircraft's gross weight is just over 5,000 pounds, and the Hurricane was 7.5, so the pound-to-weight ratio is far superior. Trailer and roll running in now on the B axis towards us, as opposed to the A axis, which is the one parallel to the main runway, again heading vertical. Again, the speed decreases and the aircraft goes into a tail slide. The exit inverted, and that mark is exceptionally uncomfortable. Into a maximum rate turn in front of us. Watch now as the PC-9M regains the display line along the main runway. Because straight out of that, he rolls inverted. And now again, he's going to be pushing. What's he feeling here, Mark? The blood is rushing to his head. He is hanging in the straps, if you like. The aircraft is upside down, he's pushing, so his head is going towards the canopy. Very uncomfortable. It does lead to sometimes problems with the eyes. You can have burst blood vessels. In our Phantom display, we had a -2.5 G push-up. I burst a blood vessel in my eye one day. It felt spectacular, but it didn't look that good, so we took it out as a routine. Now he's extended the undercarriage, and we'll be seeing him perform what's known as a dirty roll, dirty thus with the gear extended. Just a really good view of the three hard points under each wing. The inner two are rated at 250 kilograms and the outer two are rated at 110 kilograms, giving the aircraft quite a potent air-to-ground capability in the 1.5 rolls to the inverted, and now we're going to see a complete outside loop. But not just that, because he should be performing a complete roll at the apex of the loop as well. See what I mean about this being a technically demanding display? A beautiful transition there, no dishing out whatsoever in going from negative G to positive G to the roll. Impressive performance, plus the utility of the aircraft, no surprise that it's been sold globally. Swiss Air Force, Croatian Air Force, Royal Thai Air Force, Irish Air Corps, and of course the Slovenian Air Forces, to just name but a few. Of the Hellenic Air Force. Okay, here is the highlight of the show. That is the most impressive slow roll that I've again, and he's been cleared to land. What a show by a multiple award winner at the Air Tattoo over the years. You know, for those that are along the front, you may well hear a variation in tone coming from the engine and propeller combination. That's the pilot putting it into feature, which in essence is reverse thrust, bringing the aircraft to a controlled speed in a very short space of time. Rolling out then after a brilliant sequence, that was Captain Andrei Fiorelli of the 152nd Fixed Wing Squadron, Slovenian Air Force, on the Pilatus PC-9M. Well, now we're about to see an example of one of the most ubiquitous military